Okay guys, today what we're going to do is go through a full body circuit. So we're going to do 7 different exercises and we're going to just go from one exercise to the next and we're going to repeat that circuit 3 times. So for each exercise there's a rep range, so for example 10 to 15 or 15 to 20. So your goal is to get between those reps and over time try to get to the higher amount of reps. We'll get into it.
So the first exercise is a dumbbell or kettlebell swing. So you're going to have feet outside shoulder width apart, toes turned out. You're going to concentrate on really pushing the hips back, feeling the stretch in the back of the legs, drive the hips forward and squeeze the glutes each time at the top. So you want to focus here on moving from the hip and not the knees. So knees are soft, but you're pushing back at the hips, driving forward and squeeze the glutes, keeping the back straight all the time. We're going for 15 to 20 reps here. Good, so hips back, knees out, squeeze the glutes each time. Next exercise is press ups. So you're going to be down in a box position on your knees, hands underneath the shoulders, just outside shoulder width so that it's comfortable. You're going to bend back at the elbow at a 45-degree angle, control the way down, push the hands through the ground to get up. To make this harder, the further your knees are back, and then you can go up onto the toes if you really want to make it hard, and then the opposite to make it easier. The closer your knees come in, the easier it'll be. So 10 to 15 reps here, nice and controlled, keep the core tight, breathe in at the top each time, control the way down, drive back up. So the next exercise is a kettlebell or dumbbell toe touches. So you're going to be flat on your back, and then you're going to take the kettlebell or dumbbell and you're going to extend it overhead, so reach up. And then you're going to bring your feet up straight, toes pointed up. You're going to bring the kettlebell up towards the toes. So really think of crunching the abs here. So up, crunch the abs, control the way down. So try to keep your neck nice and relaxed here. Don't move from the neck, you want to move from the abs. And then try to pick a spot on the ceiling that you can kind of keep looking up at that so you're not crunching your neck or putting pressure on your neck. So up, crunch the abs, breathe out, control the way down. We're going for 15 to 20 reps here. Make sure to breathe each time. Next exercise is kettlebell or dumbbell squats. So you're going to have the kettlebell or dumbbell underneath the chin, your elbows tucked in, so you want to keep the elbows in that the knees can go outside the elbows then. So when you're doing a squat, think of hips back first, then knees out. So you don't want to move from the knees first. Think of hips back, then knees out. You're putting the pressure through the back of your foot here, and also think of putting the pressure on the outside of your foot. So you're really pushing the knees out to sit down into that hole then. Nice and controlled movement. You're going to think of squeezing the glutes, breathing in at the top, hips back, knees out, control the way down, drive through the ground to get up then. We're going for 10 to 15 reps here. Keep focusing on keeping the back nice and neutral, so it's keeping all the tension in the legs. Good. So the next exercise is a kettlebell or dumbbell one-arm row. So for this, you're going to need something for support for your hands. You can use a bench, chair, or the wall, anything you have. So you're sitting the hips back. You're going to get back nice and straight. Think of bringing the elbow back towards the hip here and squeezing the back muscles. So what's important here is that you start the movement from the shoulder blade. Think of moving the shoulder blade back and down, elbow towards your hip, squeeze, stretch on the way forward. So this movement is more back and forward. It's not up and down, that you want to keep the trap and upper neck muscles relaxed and really pull back. It's important that you keep your chest up during this movement all the time and don't let it fall down. So we're going for 10 to 15 reps on each side. Nice and controlled, squeeze at the top, stretch at the bottom. So when you're setting this up, really think of pushing the hips back. You should feel a stretch in the back of the legs, and then chest up. Keep the chest nice and high. Bringing the shoulder blade back and down, then driving the elbow towards the hip. Your elbow is going to want to go outwards. What happens here is the elbow likes to kind of flare out. So really think of keeping that elbow tucked in by your side and you're driving it into the base of your spine at the bottom. Nice and controlled movement. It will actually kind of, if you imagine like sawing a piece of timber, this is what it's like. So it's forward and back, not up and down. 10 to 15 reps on each side, nice and controlled. And then the next exercise we're on to is a kettlebell or dumbbell Russian twist. So you're going to start on the ground. You're going to have your feet crossed. To make this harder, you can keep your feet up. To make it easier, feet to stay on the ground. So you're going to concentrate here on twisting at the hips and really using your obliques, so the side of your core muscles. And we don't want to use momentum here. That's why you see a little pause at the top each time, just so that we're not swinging side to side. Try to make sure you're not bouncing the kettlebell or dumbbell off the ground either. So nice and controlled, twist at the hips, and don't forget to breathe each time. A lot of people tend to just hold their breath here, which is really common. So make sure small little breaths, breathe out, twist, breathe out, twist. And you can put your feet back onto the ground if you're finding it hard as you're doing it. So it's 15 to 20 reps on each side. So that'll be 30 to 40 total. If you do need to stop during this movement, you can, and just take a break and then start again, because it is a tough movement and it can get fatiguing, especially if you feel it in your lower back. That's probably just your core getting weak. So you can take a break for a few seconds and start again then. Over time, you will get stronger as well doing this. So the next exercise is a kettlebell or dumbbell sumo deadlift. So you're going to start with your feet outside shoulder width, so nice and wide. Think of toes turned out. We're going to really concentrate on getting the hips back and knees out here. So you're not using your back, really hips back, knees out as far as you can. Control the way down. So you should feel a stretch in your hamstrings, so the backs of the legs, and then driving the hips forward, squeeze the glutes. So this movement is different from a squat as it becomes all at the hips. So you're sitting back, letting the body come forward a bit, so you're not staying completely upright. Think of the shoulders coming out over the knees. Hips back, knees out, control the way down. Push through the heels to get up, drive the hips in, squeeze. Keep the back nice and straight each time. We're going for 15 to 20 here. Don't forget to breathe each time, nice and controlled. Hips back, knees out, drive the heels through the ground.